Today on UI7 Newsbreak, we will take a look into the Taylorville community and how they are coming together to recover from a devastating tornado.
I feel great. I mean, it's just going to take time. There ain't no sense in worrying about it.
Then, we start preparing for the holiday season with a unique way to dress your house with decorations.
We've been making the wreaths for more than 3 years, but at a certain point, the demand for wreaths in this town became so popular, we thought, well, why not create an opportunity for people to make their own wreath?
And be sure to stick around as we preview Illini Volleyball's Final Four match.
Your UI7 Newsbreak starts right now.
Hello, I'm Christy Allen.
And I'm Jared Farmer.
Taylorville, Illinois was hit by a tornado just over 1 week ago. Officials said that for many people, the recovery stage could last until next summer. Joining us now is UI7's Isabella Perez, who found hope in the community.
The past week hasn't been easy for the community of Taylorville. I was there to speak to some of the citizens and met James Brown. This is his story. This has been the home of James Brown for over 60 years. He was home alone watching TV like any other Saturday when the warnings of the tornado started. He knew it was time to move, so he went to seek refuge in the house of his daughter. Despite losing many of his valuable belongings, Brown still has hope.
I feel great. I mean, it's just going to take time. There ain't no sense in worrying about it. It can be replaced. This old man can't.
The tornado destroyed part of the roof of Brown's house. He counts with the support of his family, who already helped him tarp it. Despite all the damage, Brown had his house insured. Those who don't have insurance will have to take care of the damage on their own.
A lot of the religious groups come and they provide different services to people. Some of them give them clothing, some of them give them food. Some of them help go clean up the debris in their yards, so there's a lot of different services that come together for that.
Brown will be staying with his daughter until the house is rebuilt. There's concerns, but his approach has been positive above all.
It'll take time to get it back together. I feel great. Don't bother me.
Many volunteers are still working together to try and help each other. Reporting from Taylorsville, I am Isabella Perez, UI7 Newsbreak.
Joining us here in the studio today is UI7 Newsbreak's weatherman, Will Most. Will, could you give us a little bit more details about the storm that hit Taylorville on Saturday?
Sure, absolutely. So the storm that hit Taylorville is a EF3 tornado. That's a rating on the Enhanced Fujita scale. And essentially that EF3 classification means that it can cause significant damage to buildings. It can sweep away unanchored homes. And in terms of winds, it's going to be reaching winds anywhere from 136 to 165 miles per hour.
Will, how unusual is it to have a storm of that severity this late in the season?
It's really unusual. There have been a couple storms that have popped up over the past few years, but none that had so many occurrences of tornadoes. 28 to 29 tornadoes occurred on December 1st. The only other event that's comparable to that goes back to 1957, December 19th, 1957. There were 21 tornadoes. And I was talking to meteorologist and U of I professor Jeff Frame, and he was saying those 21 tornadoes might have actually been underreported. There's a possibility that that storm back in 1957 was even more severe than what we saw about 2 weeks ago. Moving on to your fast cast for today's weather, it's going to be about 37 degrees. No chance of rain. It should be mostly sunny. We're having a little bit of wind, 16 miles per hour coming from the southwest. 4:27 is when the sun's going to set. It's going to get dark early. So, you know, get back inside, start studying for finals. I'm going to have more on weather coming up in a bit.
Well, thanks so much, Will, for that fast cast. While many try to get away from the severe weather as possible, many meteorologists head towards these rare atmospheric events. They're called storm chasers, and these December storms provided them an opportunity to observe a unique weather event. On December 1st, 29 tornadoes touched down across central and southwest Illinois. Meteorologist Andrew Pritchard had been tracking the likelihood of the storms for nearly a week, and his expertise and interest led him to witness them as they took shape. Pritchard was able to capture 2 storms as they formed near the towns of Bluffs and Beardstown. While Pritchard was more prepared than most, the irregularity of a December storm still surprised him.
48 hours in advance, and it's still there. It's consistent on the weather models. So it just seems like, okay, this is unusual, but this seems like a thing that's going to happen. We're going to be doing severe weather on December 1st in central Illinois.
For Pritchard, storm chasing is a passion, one that he has pursued since he first got his car at 16 years old. While the opportunity to see a tornado excites him, he understands the devastation that they can create. Pritchard hopes the knowledge he and other meteorologists gain from tracking and chasing storms like these will someday lead to minimizing the damage that they can do.
Taylorville has received an outpouring amount of supplies. UI7's Kira Kirsch reports on why the community is putting a stop to this type of donation.
Heavily on statewide aid, but not in the form of materials.
When people bring us commodities, they bring it to us. Somebody's got to sort it, somebody's got to store it, somebody's got to stack it. All that stuff has to happen.
The city does not have the personnel or storage space for these mass amounts of supplies, and finding those resources is only causing more stress. Despite the devastation and loss in Taylorville, the city is not looking for food, water, or clothing. They're looking for something else.
What people are most in need of after these disasters is money.
With this money, the city hopes residents will be able to buy their own products safely from stores. The sheriff's office received a large monetary donation from a friend shortly after the tornado hit to help residents get back on their feet.
Homeowners that are at home and we know that they're in desperate need, we're giving out gift cards.
Red Cross and other volunteer groups are donating their time both physically and mentally as they help residents answer the question, what now? Taylorville is still cleaning up the debris from Saturday's storm, and many are left with homes declared uninhabitable.
Probably the stage we're now is called the recovery stage, and that can go on for weeks or months.
In the meantime, residents are searching for affordable places to stay, and those staying with family and friends know that they need to start thinking more long-term.
I think the big thing is, they're going to have to find places to rent.
Before residents of Taylorville start thinking about renting homes, they need money. The community continues to search for hope as they begin rebuilding their lives and their homes, donation by donation. In Taylorville, this is Kira Kirsch, UI7 News.
The 0 fatalities in Taylorville might be thanks to the second warning siren that went off on that Saturday. About 40 minutes before the tornado hit, many people heard the first siren. For reference, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the average warning time for a tornado is just 13 minutes. Taylorville officials had their eyes on the weather and sent out a warning before it even made it into Christian County. But some in Taylorville weren't sure it was a real threat.
We were sitting inside, we heard the sirens and had all the text messages and everything, but being from the Midwest, what's the storm?
Weather warnings don't leave much time for making plans. It's important everyone is aware of a safe space in emergencies like this.
Typically, when a tornado is approaching, one siren is sounded. UI7's Tim Griffin investigated into what was done differently that helped save lives.
Winds up to 165 miles per hour devastated the town of Taylorville, Illinois. Roofs torn off, homes destroyed, but however, no fatalities. Captain of Taylorville Fire Department Ron Smith was one of the first to spring into action in preparation for the tornado.
First thing is, it was sunny like it is right now, and we were preparing for our Christmas parade. And then my chief called me. I come in the door at 4 o'clock. Chief called me and said, parade's canceled, activate our sirens, get everybody to the firehouse.
This tornado was an EF3, damaging over 100 buildings and injuring 22. The fire department was doing all that they could to provide some help to those in need.
Power poles down, trees in your way. We've damaged the front, or 2 of our trucks trying to get to calls. We've knocked a windshield out in one of them. And
typically, when a tornado is approaching, only one siren is sounded. But on Saturday, Taylorville Fire Department did something different.
Public Information Officer Joe Gasparich discussed how the fire department decided to sound 2 sirens while they were monitoring the storm.
Literally exploded. So that's kind of when he sent the warning out, and then when it got into Christian County, he knew it was real. They did it again. In fact, we saw a video this morning of the tornado coming through Taylorville, and the sirens are sounding when the tornado's coming through.
The decision to sound an early siren followed by another isn't the typical protocol, but it may have just saved lives.
We knew something was up this time, and I've been told by a lot of people in the public they're glad that we did that, because that really drilled it home to them. Because a lot of times when we blow them one time, some people just kind of take advantage of that.
The fire department is continuing to help the community recover. In Taylorville, Tim Griffin, UI7 Newsbreak.
The storm left several residents of Taylorville to brace the elements. A major concern for local Ameren, Illinois crews in the area has been restoring power to the damaged areas. After the initial efforts to clear debris and helping victims find shelter, Ameren crews have worked relentlessly since the morning after the storm. As a measure of safety, Ameren trucks could be seen removing destroyed transformers from the neighborhoods of damaged areas. Ameren says that up to 1,400 residents lost their power on the night of the storm and have been working diligently to restore the power to its customers. Ameren also says that at least 100 power lines were also destroyed in the tornado's wake. Ameren expects to have the power back on for affected areas on Sunday.
The local humanitarians are providing shelters and giving supplies to people in need. The Red Cross will be present here for the duration to support families affected by destruction. Here's what's left in this neighborhood. The tornado had torn off the roofs and ripped apart homes. It's going to take weeks, if not months, for them to order supplies and reconstruct their houses, especially in such cold weather. Many families are assisting the Red Cross, with 5 people sleeping in the shelter. Shelley Oliver is a Red Cross volunteer. She is helping by offering hot chocolate, hand warmers, and cleanup kits to residents.
We had a shelter, and so we housed some people in the shelter. We've been feeding people from the community that have come in to get out of the cold. There for a while there was no power, so they didn't have anywhere to go or anything to cook, so they came in for meals.
With more than 100 homes being uninhabitable, holiday decorations had to be put on hold. UI7's Jessica Patempa will give us a closer look as to what this means for one Taylorville family.
As the holiday season begins, many Taylorville residents have had to switch their focus from Christmas decorating to dealing with the wreckage from the tornado which hit last week. Jessica Donovan, a lifelong resident, is making the move out of her damaged home to her dad's house with her 2 sons.
It's been home. I mean, it's always been here. We've heard sirens a million times and nothing's ever happened. I just had a bad feeling this time that I needed to get out.
Donovan was not alone in her gut feeling of this tornado being the real deal.
For some reason, everybody had the feeling something was going to happen that night, and we were all prepared. And like I said, everybody thought that for once, and nobody's ever thought it that way before.
Donovan's house is one of the many houses in Taylorville which has been labeled inhabitable. She's currently deciding which belongings she's going to keep and which will be thrown away. Donovan's loved ones have come together to pack up her belongings from her house of 10 years. She is unsure what her next steps are after the move, but knows her family will be all right.
They're fine. They're happy. They're thankful. They'll be fine at my dad's. So.
While Donovan's family belongings are loaded onto their moving truck, she remains optimistic for their future. In Taylorville, I'm Jessica Patempa, UI7 Newsbreak.
Coming up, a look into a student's last finals as she prepares to graduate.
Plus, some words of wisdom from Professor Shozo Sato.
Oh, Dapper Leon. I almost feel like every Friday I have a date. He'll have a vest or a jacket.
She sees me at my best.
Drop off a warm meal and get more than you expect. Volunteer at americaletsdolunch.org.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
It's not my first time bartending, so.
It's a sausage party in here.
It's fine. I'm very familiar.
Yeah, because you're a sexy girl, Sam. Last thing, totally last thing.
Yeah.
Is that the music, when Momo kicks it into high gear, is going to get a little bit loud in here. So your customers are going to have a hard time hearing you. So you may want to.
What?
I send him a text. He texts me back and say, "Who dis?"
The next few weeks, she just made fun of me, like would answer the door and say, "Who dis?"
Who dis?
Drop off a warm meal and get more than you expect. Volunteer at americaletsdolunch.org.
After 15 years of smoking, Eva Marie quit. There's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Many students use the promise of break to get them through finals week. For others, finals week is the last thing to check off the list before graduation. Senior Isabella is days away from graduating a semester early, a decision she made so her brother will receive more financial support from their parents. Osdahl says the University of Illinois is a second home that she's sad to leave. The Career Center at Illinois helps graduates with these major life transitions.
A lot of their peers are graduating in May. They may not feel as though they're going through that transition or that job search process with all of their peers, so it feels a little bit different.
College-level convocation ceremonies take place December 15th through December 22nd.
Professor Shozo Sato has offered unique and immersive classes into Japanese culture for over 50 years. Recently at Japan House, Shozo instructed a very rare seal carving class for a small group. Shozo, along with students, chipped away at stone to make a unique seal to be used as a finishing touch on many Asian paintings. No matter the task, Shozo says seminars like these should bring people closer to Zen, which helps people remove unnecessary elements from their lives.
Your brain is all filled with emotions, and then therefore you cannot see through. The answer is right there.
Illinois School of Music, along with producer and sound designer, the letter L Beats, hosts their annual hip-hop workshop for students titled Everybody Loves Trap Music Production Workshop. He goes by the letter L Beats, but in the classroom, his students know him as instructor Lamont Holden. Students got the opportunity to explore the making of urban and popular music production at the Illinois School of Music. In order to apply creative and technical understanding in producing original music, Holden continues to host workshops for students and the public.
What a fun opportunity.
Yeah, and he might be spitting something hot. Hopefully it's hot enough to keep everybody warm for the weather. We'll have Will Most here next for the break to talk about the weather.
Less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But I get it, you're busy. And busy people can't have prediabetes. I read that wrong. They can, okay. Just go to the site.
I send him a text. He texts me back and say, "Who dis?"
The next few weeks, she just made fun of me, like would answer the door and say, "Who dis?"
Who dis?
Drop off a warm meal and get more than you expect. Volunteer at americaletsdolunch.org.
Truth is, I'm impressed. I haven't been asked such intelligent questions in a long time. Nice.
Thank you.
You're very smooth.
You're very smooth yourself.
After 15 years of smoking, Eva Marie quit. There's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
With the holiday season upon us, many people dress their houses in decorations. UI7's Dan Girardi shows us how a local farm is teaching people how to make holiday wreaths.
Participants could clip branches to make their own wreath at a wreath-making workshop organized by Champaign-based Delight Flower Farm. Delight's Holly Curia says the workshop is a different way to get into the holiday spirit.
This time of year, I think there's a lot of pressure for people to go shopping, to get into the holiday spirit and feeling festive, but instead we want to kind of create an alternative opportunity for people to get creative, make something for themselves.
All of the evergreens used to make the wreaths were either cut at Delight's own farm or other regional farms. The workshop not only helped people get in the holiday spirit, but also helped support a local farm.
What's not to love about helping a local business with their flowers, and teamwork makes the dream work, so everybody's helping each other out. So we really enjoy that, and I just enjoy helping a local business.
Everything from dried orange slices to pine cones to ribbons to beads could be used to decorate the wreaths. Curia says having a relationship with the community is very important to their farm.
I think it's really important these days for us to have a presence in the community where people can have a one-on-one relationship with their farmer, with their producer, their local producer.
Sometimes a personalized wreath is just more special than a store-bought one.
You really get to customize it to your own style, and then I think there's also something really special about just making something for yourself and knowing that you, with your two hands, made that one-of-a-kind special thing.
In Urbana, Dan Girardi, UI7 Newsbreak.
Winter is here and Will Most is out in the cold for your weather forecast. Will, take it away.
Hi guys, as you can see it's pretty nice out here. We're looking at about a 37-degree day. We were originally anticipating some rain, but it's pleasant, partly sunny, a little windy. My hair's blowing in the breeze, but I'm a trooper, I can deal with it. Looking at our local temperatures around the area, Champaign-Urbana is 37 degrees, and so is Rantoul, but we got some warmer temperatures down in Springfield and Mattoon-Charleston. Moving out to the Midwest, we also have some very similar kind of 40s, high 30s temperatures, but as we look more in the southern area at Louisville and St. Louis, we're at 48 and 49, almost getting to the 50s. Very jealous of them, but who I'm more jealous of is if you look out at the national temperatures, look at all those people in the South, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Dallas, and Miami. I would love to be there for Christmas. 70 in Los Angeles, 68 in Phoenix, and 73 in Miami. I don't need snow, I don't need anything, I just want some warm, warm weather. Looking at tonight, it's gonna be 28. We're gonna dip below into freezing, but there's gonna be no rain, no snow. Should be nice, just stay inside. Looking out to tomorrow, it's going to be a high chance of rain, about 70 or 80% chance of rain. We're looking at temperatures of about 43 as well, and a little bit of 7-mile-per-hour winds coming in from the southeast. So I would advise staying in on that day. But looking out to our 5-day forecast, there's a few more things to be a little optimistic about. On Saturday, it's looking to be sunny, 43. Sunday, which is supposed to be the nicest day of the week by far in terms of the amount of sun that we're getting and the temperature, it's at 44. But looking in at Thursday, it's looking like it's going to rain. You should stay inside and study for the finals that are coming. And going back to the people inside, Jared, Christy, take it away.
Well, thank you, Will. Also joining us here in the studio today is UI7 Newsbreak's Emily Steinmetz. And Emily, it's been a pretty big week in the world of sports.
Absolutely. All the way from Chicago down to Urbana-Champaign. Huge week in sports, and it's only going to keep going. The Bears have beaten the best, and the Illini volleyball team are 2 wins away from being the best. More sports coming up after this break.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But I get it, you're busy, and busy people can't have prediabetes. I read that wrong. They can, okay? Just go to the site.
I send him a text. He texts me back and say, "Who dis?"
The next few weeks, you just made fun of me, like would answer the door and say, "Who dis?"
Who dis?
Drop off a warm meal and get more than you expect. Volunteer at americaletsdolunch.org.
Truth is, I'm impressed. I haven't been asked such intelligent questions in a long time. Nice.
Thank you.
You're very smooth.
You're very smooth yourself.
After 15 years of smoking, Eva Marie quit. There's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
I'm Emily Steinmetz. Here is your UI7 sports update. Illini volleyball are Final Four bound and will take on Nebraska tomorrow in Minneapolis. The Illini beat number 6 Wisconsin last weekend to advance. This is the Illini's first Final Four appearance since 2011 and the 4th in program history. Along with Illinois and the Cornhuskers, BYU and Stanford will be playing in the other national semifinal game earlier Thursday night. First serve for that one will be at 6 p.m. on ESPN. Then Illinois and Nebraska will at the Target Center at 8 p.m. for their third match this season. They split their 2 matches in the regular season, with each team winning on the road. The final will take place Saturday evening. 2 division leaders faced off Sunday, and the Chicago Bears came out with the victory. The Bears defeated Los Angeles Rams 15-6 in a defensive battle at Soldier Field Sunday night. Chicago's defense forced 4 turnovers. The powerful Rams offense stopping Sean McVay's side from clinching a first-round bye in the playoffs. With a 9-4 record, the Bears have clinched their first winning season in 6 years and are 1 victory away from winning the NFC North crown. Khalil Mack and Chicago stay home to face their arch rivals, the Packers, in Week 15 on Sunday. Hours before Illini volleyball booked its trip to Minneapolis, Orange and Blue fans gathered at the State Farm Center. Illini men's basketball notched their 3rd victory this season with a narrow 3-point win over UNLV on Saturday. The Runnin' Rebels couldn't stop Andres Feliz from dropping 19 points off the bench. Brad Underwood also enjoyed a breakout performance from freshman Samba Kane. The Senegalese big man had 8 points and a block. After a full week off, the Fighting Illini will return to the floor on Saturday to play the 8-3 East Tennessee State Buccaneers. The Illini football freshman defensive tackle, Larray Oladipo, was arrested in late October for alleged abuse. The case was to be tried by a jury, but instead all 3 domestic battery charges were dismissed. At a hearing in November, the woman testified that Oladipo had not abused her. After his arrest, Oladipo was suspended from the team indefinitely.
So many exciting things going on in sports right now, but I think the most exciting is Illinois volleyball.
Absolutely. I hear there's a bunch of watch parties going on for those that can't quite make the game, so it's great to back behind a winning team finally for the Illini.
Absolutely. We have some breaking news here that President Trump's former personal attorney, Michael Cohen, has been sentenced to 3 years in prison. Cohen had 8 criminal counts he pled guilty to in August. He has been ordered to surrender on March 6th.
For more of our stories, please follow us on Facebook.
Or see more of our stories on our YouTube page.
That's all we have for this edition of UI7 Newsbreak.
Thanks for watching. From all of us at UI7 Newsbreak, happy holidays and good luck on finals.
Wow, that is some breaking news. That is crazy breaking news.
That is some crazy breaking news with Michael Cohen. I mean, 3 years in prison, that's no joke.
Yeah. I know. It's been in the headlines for a while, and I'm glad to see that we've finally kind of come to a conclusion here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, obviously there's still charges that are being filed in the future, but to see the lawyer of a president be charged with 8 counts, it just feels like a remarkable occurrence. Like we're living in some weird reality. I never thought I'd see something like that happen.
Yeah, it's just surreal to think about. You know, you look at this administration and just about every single week you get some type of new scandal that you have to deal with.
Thanks for joining us on this edition of UI7 Newsbreak.